Well, I assume we're recording, so we can kick this thing off. If we're not, then let me know. Great, thanks. Well, welcome to, I guess, the post-NFT NYC, post-daylight savings edition of the community call. I think we should take a minute to celebrate less confusion on the schedule, at least for the next few months in the US. Something I would love to live in a world where we don't have to deal with that at all. But let's at least enjoy an extra. I guess we got an extra hour of sleep yesterday. Today we are gearing up for the launch of OUSD liquidity mining, as well as launch of the next phase of our NFT platform. So I think on this call we will we'll focus on sprint planning, what's left to do for the liquidity mining launch, and then hopefully get a recap from Matt about how last week went in New York. Of course, as always, please join us on Discord at originprotocol.com/Discord if you're not there already. It's where we share the agenda for this call, where we have back channel discussions, and then continue the conversation throughout the week. If it is your first time visiting us, then maybe in 30 minutes or so, we'd love to extend the invitation for you to introduce yourself. Let us know how you learned about the project, what you're working on, what you're excited about, that sort of thing. But otherwise, I think we can kick it off with announcements, if there are any, or things to flag from the prior week. One of them that I appreciated was that we rescued comp from our old compound strategy over the weekend. So my wallet appreciates that, Daniel and Tom. Anything you want to say about how that went?
It's nice to have the ability to simulate exactly what happened on a blockchain, because it went exactly as it was simulated to go. So yeah, we got it. It was just a little bit of pain because we'd upgraded our contracts while compound was down, and we couldn't recover that comp, so we just had to go back to the old one, add it, pull the comp out, and then remove it again.
Cool. I assume that there's nothing left to do there, or is there any cleanup with the old strategy or anything? All done?
Yep, we're good.
Very cool. Well, I appreciate it.
To Daniel, guys, this was like a major undertaking, and it went, super flawlessly. So thanks a lot, Daniel, for driving this, and yeah, really great job on this. Thanks to Tom for the thorough review. That was awesome as well. So great teamwork, guys. Yeah, I'm glad this is behind us. It's a huge step forward.
Totally. Any other announcements or things to flag from the prior week? Why don't we jump into sprint planning? We, of course, have 2-week sprint cycles. The current one is ending in 2 days. There are quite a few projects that are done or in the works, so I think we should walk through each one of those. And then if we have some time, talk about what might be a good candidate project for the next sprint starting on Thursday. The precision upgrade is done, deployed, all the boxes checked. We're good to go there, right, Daniel?
Yep, it's good.
Very cool. That was, as Frank was saying, that was another big project that you did a lot of heavy lifting on, so thank you. The convex strategy, I think you said, was done, and we're waiting for a review on that.
Yep, it should be good to go, other than review and deployment, but the coding and testing part is complete. Okay.
And I had made a note here in the meeting doc about needing to make changes to the analytics dashboard. It looks like after the contract is deployed, then we will be able to make those changes before we move any funds into it. Is that right?
Yes. That's correct, and thank you for putting that in there.
So we won't have a non-convex curve strategy. Like this is the only
Not at this
curve
point, yes.
strategy.
Yep.
Okay.
Now we've written our code now so that the part of moving stuff into 3-pool and using those 3-pool LP tokens is all in one piece of code that's reusable between anything. So we can just write a thin wrapper layer to handle putting it in convex or putting it in a curve gauge or wherever else we're going to be putting it in the future. But for now, we would just be launching 3-pool tokens in convex.
Okay. And how about increasing the time lock? Did I hear that Josh or Daniel had queued that up?
Yeah, we've queued it up to ramped up to 12 hours. So that's waiting for signers in the 5 of 8 wallet to approve that, but we're going to be ramping that up to 12 hours. I think we're going to push through a couple of these other upgrades with Aave and Convex, and then we'll be increasing it even further with the goal of getting that up to 48 hours by the time we turn on liquidity mining.
All right, good deal. I don't see Doman here yet, I don't think. But I believe that he's done with the front end changes to the DApp that will show the various APYs for liquidity mining campaign. But of course, that's kind of a nice to have. Most people will probably go from a blog post to Curve and won't be coming through the DApp. They won't be able to interact with the contracts through our DApp, but we definitely would like to have that information on our staking page, or more generally our earn OGN page, I think is how we would characterize it. Okay. Next project is there was an issue with routing transactions to the Curve pool within our DApp, and I think that is fixed. I haven't personally tested it yet. I will probably do that today or tomorrow, but thanks, Doman, for getting that done. And then I think we had sort of put the transaction history view for the DApp. We had sort of put that on the back burner while doing these other fixes and starting to work more on analytics. But where do we stand with that new account view, Dylan?
By account view, you probably mean transaction history, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So currently, I get I'm gonna do what I need to do is like group the rebases together. So it's not going to be as overwhelming as it is right now. So I'll do a proposal of that probably tomorrow by the end of the day, and I'll deploy it to staging, and then you guys can check. And as you said, yeah, it's been put on the back burner, but the analytics changes are going to be done today. So it's not that much. Those few extra metrics that we want shown is not too much of an engineering effort.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see it live. I haven't obviously seen it with real data, but high level, I like overwhelming. I want people to be overwhelmed with how much money they're making from OUSD, and having it show multiple, hundreds of line items of you earning money every single day is actually kind of cool. Maybe you can push it up what you have before going too far down the path of trying to group it and hide all of that overwhelmingness.
Okay. I'll then deploy the what I have on staging, and and we can, I guess, start from there.
Great.
Yeah, that'd be great, because I think we still had some different thoughts about how they would be grouped by default based on what circumstances. There's a lot to figure out there. So I agree. I think we should just ship it as is and let me complain because I'm getting too many rebased events or something.
And it's one of those things you kind of need to play with real data before you can develop much of an opinion on it.
Yeah.
So we need to push it out there, everyone play with it, and then we can say, okay, this is too much. How do we simplify it from here?
Very cool. And yeah, you mentioned, Doman, the analytics, the metrics that we wanted to focus on. So it's been great to see the weekly email highlighting various numbers from the prior week, or I think there's a monthly email too. But I think there's just a few that we want to focus on, especially as the liquidity mining campaign kicks off. So are you, I guess you're working on updating that email. Are you also going to be able to add some of that stuff to our analytics dashboard, just like raw numbers, whatever it looks like, and then we'll come back later and do some visual stuff?
Yeah, so my plan is to add them to both places, to email and to dashboard, and rerun the last, once I get those new metrics in, to rerun the last weekly and the last monthly. So like the first, diffs are already going to be useful. Because I might be getting this wrong, but if we start, did we say that we want to start doing the liquidity mining campaign on Wednesday? Then we'll probably want to see the change of how much OUSD is in liquidity pooling curve and how much is earning the OGN and curve rewards by the gauge. So yeah, I think it's cool to already do the previous week's metrics, like curve metrics, even though they're going to be like very low, and most of it's going to be from our account. I don't know what's the wallet that starts with like 44 something, the one that provided initial liquidity. Though is the liquidity pool.
For sure, yeah, that sounds good. One of the things that I think I mentioned that would be nice to know, it's not like the most key metric, but the thing that would be nice to know is how many new accounts acquire OUSD and are not participating in the liquidity mining campaign. They're not putting it into Curve and earning OGN. They're actually holding it and enjoying the yield starting on Wednesday. That would be great to know.
Good point. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for working on that. Then, Frank, I think I saw Daniel volunteer to help with the OGN rescue feature for our staking contracts. What's the timeline for that?
I should be able to have that by the end of the day as far as the deploy portion of it. That's almost done.
Thanks, Daniel, for jumping in. I appreciate it. And then I'll review it. We'll merge that, and I'll submit the multi-sig. So hopefully, in the next day or so, we can get this out of the way.
Yeah, and we started working on this back in September, and the person who sort of inspired this feature, because they lost a lot of OGN, is a friend of the company, an OGN holder. But the deadline for that is November 19th. So good that we're getting this done, as that's coming up quickly.
Good to know. As we mentioned earlier, the comp rescue is done. You can see the effects of that in our APY page, which is what? analytics.ousd.com/APY. And I think I saw a screenshot of that in Discord this weekend. All right. Then the last thing on the existing sprint was the allocation of DAI to where? Aave? Is that right, Daniel?
Yep, we're putting about a third of our funds into Aave.
Where do we stand on that process? Are you doing an on-chain proposal for that?
The community has voted, and there's now an on-chain execution thing out to the multi-stakeholders, I believe. Frank put that in this morning.
So it's just waiting to be signed.
Yep.
Okay, good deal. We talked about analytics sneaking into the sprint, and so that was the last thing on the list. Anything else that stands out that we wanted to get done this week that we didn't already walk through? The two candidate projects that I had for the upcoming sprint starting Thursday were The transaction history view that we were just talking about with Doman, it sounds like an early version of that might get shipped before then. That would be a bonus. But really wrapping that project up later this week or next would be great. And then we've talked many times about updating our analytics dashboard to be more visual, have historical context with graphs, charts, whatever the case is. I think we decided that we're not going to go through sort of a design process for that with mock-ups. We'll just figure out the right way to, like whatever library we want to use, and then just start throwing things up there and iterating on it as we go. So we might talk a little bit more about that, Doman, outside of this meeting, figure out what the priority is there. But otherwise, whenever you are ready or anyone else wants to contribute to that, then I think it'd be great to work on. Anything else that comes to mind right now for the upcoming sprint that should be a priority?
Oh, we should throw keeper monitoring into that at a minimum to
yes.
keep the balance.
Yeah, thank you for that reminder that I was supposed to write up that GitHub issue and I did not get to it. So I will do that. I think there was another one also about more gas efficient harvesting. How high of a priority would that be, do you think?
It's less important than launching the liquidity mining, so I'm not. It feels like we've checked off all the critical boxes for doing that, and so maybe we'll be able to move down to lower priority things. But until that's launched and running well, that's my first priority. Is anything related to that?
Yep. Okay. Well, let's talk more about the launch of liquidity mining campaign. Before we jump into that, though, I just wanted to say, since a few more people have shown up, if it's your first time joining us or you would like to just say hi, then maybe in 10 or 15 minutes or so, we'll extend an invitation for you to introduce yourself and say what you're working on, what you're excited about, that sort of thing. So we have, I have some notes in here from Josh about the steps that we need to take to launch the campaign on Wednesday. Those would be increasing the time lock, which we already talked about, that is in the works. Then funding the bribes and the gauge on Curve, and then publishing a blog post. Josh, do you want to elaborate on any of that? And then I also noted a couple of big picture goals that you had mentioned a few days ago for this project.
I think the only thing I'll add on the bribes, we'll want to do the math on what our competitors are offering and make sure that we're beating them. And so we'll want to do that math. Also need to figure out exactly when the new campaign window rolls over, as maybe we want to get in a last minute bid so that no one tries to outbid us at the last second. If someone wants to volunteer for digging up that timestamp from the contracts, that'd be helpful.
All right, I can dig it up. I was hoping somebody
Thanks,
knew
Daniel.
better. But yes.
Thanks, Daniel. Like a one-man wrecking crew. All right, and then how about the goals, Josh? Aiming for 100 million total supply of OUSD within the 10-week campaign. And of course, we'll measure and reassess each week, right?
Yep.
It's just a 1-week commitment.
Yeah, that's right. So we're going to be evaluating, each week how it's going, and adjusting as we go. But it's already been approved by governance for us to spend up to 1 million OGN per week, which is well under 1% of our trading volume. So we don't expect it to have any negative effects on price of OGN. But we do expect it to be enough to encourage CRV holders to vote for us and to draw more attention to OUSD. And the goal, as Mike said, is to get OUSD into the 9-figure range for circulating supply, which course means we'll have to have close to $200 million in the curve pool, just because people have to pair their OUSD with CRV. So that's our goal. It's an audacious goal, but that's what we're going to shoot for.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it. Any other thoughts about launch of that campaign on Wednesday, or anything that we didn't talk about that we should cover?
We've been talking about it and working on it for a long time, so it's good to finally be at the finish line or starting line. But thanks to everyone for all the work getting us to this point.
Yeah, I'm excited about it for sure. As you mentioned other times, basically every other successful DeFi project has had incentives like this, and we've come a really long way and created a great product with some reasonable adoption without them. And so I'm confident that when we pour gas on the fire, it's going to really be exciting. All right. How about Matt? Would you like to give an update on how NFT NYC went and what's going on with the NFT platform?
Yeah. So this is an incredible week for the entire team. NFT NYC was extremely productive, as well as quite fun as well. So for folks that are joining the call, we had a bunch of team members come out, did a bunch of internal strategic planning, but also met with many creators that were at the conference, generated a lot of interest and early signups for our NFT platform. Also engaged with some of the top influencers in the space with intimate dinners and nights out. And of course, we had our launch party on Tuesday, which is a celebration of our imminent release of the new creator tools. So we're really excited to have top A-list people attend the event, both in the crypto world as well as in more of the entertainment side. So Dr. Cyan Proctor, first civilian pilot in space a couple weeks ago with Inspiration 4 and SpaceX, came by and gave us a public shout out, and also spread the news of what we're doing on Twitter. And so that was really exciting. It was just like very inspiring moments. We had top people from music like Don Diablo, Bass Jackers, and Cashmere, who have all done drops with us, helping us promote the origin story. And then of course we had a lot of the top NFT people that we've been friends with on Twitter or Discord, but it's always better in real life. So hang out with G Money, hung out with Seed Phrase, hung out with a lot of these top collectors and top influencers that are driving innovation in the space. So things are looking really exciting. And tech side of engineering team has been hammering getting the platform just fine-tuned. And we've already started onboarding some creators. There is going to be a wait list for a little bit longer, but the idea is to get people ramped up on the wait list very quickly, so that we can begin exponential scaling as opposed to linear scaling. More about this will be, again, coming out imminently. So I'm really excited to get people's feedback and commentary and have people use this in mass very soon.
Thanks, Matt. It was a great week, and the platform launch has been a long time coming. I'm excited for people to be able to see what they're capable of doing as a creator. So look forward to getting product feedback. If anybody wants to get on that waiting list, you can watch for announcements soon, and then we'd love to give you a look at it and get your feedback.